So the first one I'm going to tell you about is, of course, biting down on the jacket and pulling it off with your teeth. But if you got crooked teeth or a crooked bite with big gaps, it's really hard to do. So if you have veneers or a lot of fillings or anything like that, it's probably not a good idea either. But if you have a good bite and you're only pulling off one or two, that's no big deal. Just don't make it a habit or you're going to get jacked up teeth too. So these are the kind of wires in a USB cable or maybe your headphones. And say you want to strip the jacket, the rubber off of one of these wires. We'll pick the red wire. I'm just going to fold these back here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up this part of the wire, the end part of the wire. And then I'm just going to pull it off with my fingers. And it may not come off the first time. I might have to try a couple of times. But let's do it and see. So I'm going to turn on the oven. Or the stove. Okay. It's going to let it get hot. And if it doesn't work the first time, like, all you gotta do is like melt the end of it and then pull it off. So don't let it melt into your stove. Okay, so I'm gonna, there you go. All right. So that's the one with the stove. All right, so let's do another one. We're going to use the lighter for this one. We'll use it on the green wire. So I'm going to fold these back so I don't melt them. I'm going to hold them with one hand, one finger, whatever. Going to turn on the lighter and I'm just going to heat this part of the wire. Then I'm going to pull it off. Okay, so all right. So that was easy. Took like just a couple of seconds with the lighter, and that's it. So that's with the oven and the lighter. So I'm just using this to just nibble around the edge of this black jacket. We're going to pull that black jacket off. All right, so see this? You have to be real gentle. Once you go around, just bend it a bit to see if it has gone through. It has pretty much. So I'm going to just try to twist this one way, twist it the other way, and then I'm going to pull. All right. So that got me access to my black, green, white, and red wires. Now I'm going to use this to pull off the ends of those. So I have access to those. If you come across this piece of like string, you can use your nail clippers to cut that off so it doesn't get in your way. You don't need it. All right. So here's where you got to be a little gentle because these are very sharp. And it's easy to just pull off the whole wire. So you can see how easy this can cut through. All right. So what I'm going to do, just going to kind of real gentle. Actually, you know what? If you hold it here, it's not a good idea because you can easily put a lot of pressure on it. Hold it up front, kind of like that. So you have a little more control and just pull. Look and see. It didn't. So I'm going to do it again. There you go. And it pulled off the jacket. All right. Let's take a look at how wire cutters work. They are basically like scissors, okay? You have two blades with holes in them, okay? And when you clamp down on the wire, just the edges of the holes cut through the rubber jacket, and you pull off the rubber jacket, leaving the exposed wire. So now that you know that, if you try to do that with scissors, when you clamp down, you're just going to snip the whole wire off. So what you want to do is just snip around the jacket and pull the rubber jacket off. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try to dig into the rubber jacket just enough to kind of cut it. But not cut all the way through. Okay, so you can see there, I've actually made a cut around the rubber jacket, and if I fold this back, you can see some of the wires are starting to get exposed. All right, so this rubber jacket's been damaged, and I can easily, if I just twist it a couple of times, I can pull the rubber off, exposing just the wires. So now I've cut off the rubber piece. It leaves me with the wires. Now I have to cut off the rubber off these wires. These are really tiny wires, so I have to be really careful not to cut through because it's really easy. So I'll show you. It's just like all I have to do is put some pressure and it will snip off the end of the wire. So I don't want to do that, but I want to do the same thing. I just want to kind of damage the outside of the rubber jacket and pull it off. So I'm just going to gently put some cuts in the end. So you can see that line there. And if I can't just pull it off like this, I can. So that was easy, just like that with the scissors. And this one can be tricky on really thin wire. You can just end up pulling the whole wire off if you're not very careful. So, which is no big deal. Just cut it back and try again. But let me show you how this works. So what I'm basically doing is just using one of the blades to kind of cut the end of the wire off. That's basically all it is. So I'm going to stick it in here. And if I just want a little bit, like a little bit of wire, just go for a little bit. Don't try, the longer the wire you try, jacket you try to cut off, the harder it is. So if you just want a little tip, just go for a little tip there. All right, so right there. All right, and I'm holding the wire like that, and I'm going to push with my thumb. Okay, so the jacket has been cut open there. You can see it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to straighten it out, and I'm going to pull the rest off with my thumb. Alright, so that's it. That's all you're looking for with the scissors to help you out, is just to open the jacket, and you can pull the rest off once it's opened up. Alright, so we were talking about the little wire, like USB size wire, and let's talk about bigger wire. This is home stuff you'll find in your home that's powering your plugs and your lights, and this has, of course, if you're doing home wiring, you probably should have the right tools, but maybe you're just fixing something and you just need to get it done. And so this is a rubber jacket with 3 conductors inside. Okay, you can see 1, 2, 3. And to get to those, you obviously have to take off this rubber jacket. Now, I can just imagine if you're doing this is probably hanging out from your wall, so you're not going to be using it on top of your oven. And the best thing to do is either use a blade or scissors. I'm going to use scissors for this one, and I will show you how to do this one. So the first thing is we need to split open this jacket. Alright, so I'm going to take the scissors and I'm going to take the big, you'll see there's 2 sides of this, 2 different sizes of blades. There's a thin side and the big wide side. I'm going to take the big wide side and I'm going to run it down this groove here a couple of times. Okay, that's one. So I'm going to do it one more time. Not too hard. That's 2. Okay. So that cut the rubber jacket. Now I can pull this back and expose my wires inside. If I need more longer wire, I can just pull this rubber jacket back. And I get access to more longer wire. Alright, so here I have again the ground. It's exposed, there's no rubber on it. I have the black and the neutral, both have jackets on them. Say I want to remove some of this. Now I'm going to tell you, these ones can be difficult with scissors. You just got to take your time. Difficult or easy, depending how you look at it. So I'm going to take my scissors, okay, and what I want to do is, again, I just want to nick around this jacket and I'm going to pull it off. All right, so let's bend this back here, hold this, and I want to be real careful that I don't nick into the wire. It's pretty easy to do with scissors. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, kind of just put pressure and cut like a groove around the wire. I'm going to show you some different ways to do this. This one will be cutting the groove around the wire. Just real gently let the blades do the cutting, not much pressure. Okay, you feel your groove, and it doesn't take much to cut through this outside layer. Okay, and if you look here, you can see the copper already showing through. Okay, so this has been cut through. All I got to do is remove this jacket, which I can just stick my thumb in or whatever and pull, and it's off. All right. So real easy to do, all with scissors. All right. So what we're going to do with this wire is we're going to use the scissors. We're going to nibble around the jacket and then pull it off. All right. This gives you a little bit more control if you're nervous. And you can see here, all I'm using is just that much scissors. Okay. And all I'm doing is nibbling at the end of the wire. Okay. So little nibble there. Little nibble there. That's it. I mean, if you're really nervous, it's not gonna give you some control. So, all right, then you bend it a little bit, see if there's any wire exposed. Not really. Well, then nibble away a little bit more. All right. So let's see here. Okay, let's see. I can see some wire. You can see the wires kind of exposed there, the shiny part. So I'm gonna bend it this way. Go a little bit like this. You can start to see more of that wire. If there's any jacket still remaining, like right here, there's a piece of jacket still on there. I'm going to take the scissors. I'm just going to nibble away at that little piece right there. And you can see that a lot clearer. There's no more jacket holding on to that, you know, joining both sides. So I'm going to just take my thumb, pull. That's it. All right. So that's with the scissors. All right, we're back, and I'm going to, let's talk about knives with these kitchen knives. All right, so I found this knife. It's kind of interesting. It has these serrations, and if you think about it, it's very similar to real wire cutters. Okay, it's possible the wire, if it's very thin, could fit in between one of these, and you could just end up cutting the jacket off. So let's try it and see. I have the USB again, and I'm going to pick this green one, and let's put it right on the, let's put it right there, and I'm going to use the knife. And I'm putting it basically flat, and all I want to do is scrape off the jacket. Let's see here. So you can see it basically just scraped the jacket off. And I'm going to try to pull this rubber back. I might have to scrape it one more time. Actually, no. Let's see here. Right there. So there you have your wire. Okay, so here's a different kind of knife, and this is definitely not as sharp as the kitchen knife, but I just wanted to show you just with a different kind of knife. Here we got the black wire. I'm going to put that on the table. And all I'm doing is laying this flat so it grabs into the jacket and cuts the jacket, not the wire. So I put this flat. Okay. and I'm going to pull on the wire. And you can see it exposed the inside of the wire. It's so hard to see. This stuff's so small. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull this off here. And if I can't pull it out, I can try to dig out just the wire. This thing is not sharp at all, so I'm not too worried. Remember, have supervision, because I know some of you still wear your bibs. Alright. And we're just pulling that out of the jacket right there. And that's there's another one. Alright, so here's another example. This time we're going to use just straight pliers. No wire strippers. And I need to say, you know, let's pick this yellow one right here. Say this is damaged somewhere and I need to cut it. So this does have the cutter, so I can cut. But how do you strip? Again, just like I was showing with the scissors, what you want to do is put the wire there, put a little bit of pressure, and then pull. All you're doing is trying to pull that jacket off without damaging the wire. What you can do is give a little bit of nibbles while you twist this wire so it damages the jacket all the way around. It will make it a lot easier to pull off. But once you get used to it, you'll probably just end up pulling it off anyway. So here we go. We're going to put it in, give a little bit of pressure, and then we're going to pull. And that gives you your just straight wire. Okay? And you look around a couple of times. You make sure it's not damaged or you didn't pull out too many wires. If you pulled out too many wires, do it again. So you'll cut it off. Cut it off at the end. If you want to be more careful, you can give a couple of nibbles on the, just like that. Just light pressure. And you can see there, you can kind of see right there, kind of damaged the jacket all the way around. That's the same part I'm going to grab onto and pull. So right there, I'm gonna grab it, gonna pull, and it gives you your wire exposed. All right, so you can do the other end same way. You can nibble it or you can pull it. Once you understand what's going on, you'll probably just end up, sometimes you'll nibble it, sometimes you'll pull it. 1, 2, 3, 4, then pull. And there's your wire. All right, so all you're doing is just getting the jacket caught in the blades, basically. Giving a little bit of pressure so that when you pull, it's just pulling on the jacket. If you give too much pressure, it's going to pull on the whole wire and you're going to have a tough time. All right, so that's with the wire, just pliers, not even wire strippers. So this is a different style of wire people always need to deal with. This is called, it's like speaker wire, and you can see how it's joined here in the middle with the two conductors. Usually you're positive and negative. So the easiest thing to first do is pull these wires apart. What you do is you grab each end and you can See that? You can pull it apart very easy, just like that. All right, that gives you one each. Now you need to strip the ends and you know, what do you want to use? So do we want to use nail clippers, pliers? Do we want to use a kitchen knife? Why don't we go for the nail clippers? Okay, so we got our nail clippers, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to nibble around the outside of the wire, then I'm going to pull it off. All right, so let's do this. So remember, hold it up front here so you don't put too much leverage on it. These are a lot easier to deal with because they're bigger wires and they don't break as easy. So right there, just gonna, let's see, nibble, 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 that should be good. Gonna bend it a little bit. You can see the wire exposed. Bend it a little more. Gonna pull. There you go. You got your exposed wire. All right. If you break too many wires when you're pulling it off or you cut through, then just do it again. All right. So that's an example of a good one. Okay. So let's try just pliers. A lot of people are just kind of pliers but not wire strippers. All right, so I'm going to use this, and I'm basically doing the same thing. I'm just going to kind of damage the outside of the jacket a little bit. Just open the plier, twist it, open the plier, twist it. Then I'm going to put my thumb right here, put some pressure on the pliers and pull. All right, not too much pressure that I cut through to the wire, but I'm just trying to pull off the jacket. Okay, so there, that's your exposed power wire. All right, so let's cut that off. And so you just have like you just have a knife. You don't even have nail clippers, all right? Because you're just that kind of unprepared person. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the wire flat on the table. I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to put this flat and I'm just going to shave off the jacket, all right? This knife is just not even sharp anymore. Okay, so you can see my jacket start to get exposed there. I'm going to twist this, shave a little bit off the okay. And what I can do is I can try to fold the jacket back and pull out the wire. There's some wire stuck in the jacket. I'm just going to take the knife. Cut that. I want all the strands. Okay, so there's my wire. And I'm just going to cut off this piece of the jacket. I don't need that anymore. And I have my exposed wire. Alright, so that was with the knife. Okay, so here's another example. This is a thicker wire, 3 conductors, and I want to remove this jacket, and all I have is a knife. I could use the nail clippers, I could use pliers. For this, I'm just going to show you with the knife now that you understand how to use the other stuff. So what you want to do with these is you want to cut lengthwise, split the jacket and pull it back and just trim the jacket. That's the easiest thing to do. So let's do that. So I'm going to get a little bit of blade, and I'm going to rest my hand on the desk table, and I'm using a little bit of blade so it doesn't dig all the way into the conductors. Alright, I'm going to go in. Oh, and my blade broke. Okay. So did we lose where I was cutting right there? Alright, so you can see I split it. If I didn't split it all the way back to where I wanted, I'm going to do another light pass. Right there. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to split it here, pull the conductor back, and pull my wire out. Okay, so my wire is out. I'm going to take my blade and I'm going to cut this jacket back. Okay, and there I exposed my wires. Alright, if you need to expose these, you're going to use your knife or pliers. In this case, we'll use the knife. So let's try different ways. This one we'll do like a circle cut around the conductor. So I'm just going to cut in till I feel the wire right there. I'm going to cut one on the back. Okay. And you can see the wires exposed. I'm going to just twist it and pull. There's my wire. Alright. If I feel that's not working out, I can try shaving the wire. Just lay this flat pretty much along the jacket. And if it exposes like that, I want to shave just a little edge on the tip. Okay, so you can see that's exposed. I don't know if that will focus. Let's see here. All right. So you can see that's focused, or that's exposed there. And I'm just going to peel back the jacket. And it's not as clean, But the same thing, same result as I get my wire. So there's my wire. Then I snip off that end. And you're good to go. All right.